Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today this seminar has been organized just to initiate you into the world of agile project management. And as most of you already relate to the field of agile, and you are also already doing project management, and I am sure most of you would be related to IT, and few might be from other areas. But I must emphasize here that Agile is no more for software development or IT. It is fast taking over the project management arena of all industry types. And the time is not far when everything, all the projects worldwide, would be completely shifted to agile project management. So the traditional project management is no more going to be of any use, but for the time being, when we are in the transition phase, probably for some time we will taste both the waterfall and the agile. And then there are so many flavors in agile, so many things which probably we do different from each other. But generally, the concept behind it all is the same. Basically, the problem was initially about 2 decades or 3 decades back. Even in software industry, they used to use waterfall type project management methodologies. The problem was the frequent change in scope, the uncertainty in the project, and customer wanting all the time to interact with you and sometimes even interfere. And no customer satisfaction most of the time. Team is also not satisfied. So that kind of problem, they started thinking of ways how they can do better, faster, and still allow changes and satisfy customers. Ji Abid Bukhari, do you want to say anything? I can see your hand raised, but your mic is not on. Abid Bukhari, if you want to say anything, okay, fine. If you need to ask any question, you can raise your hand, and if I see you, I'll allow you to talk. Moreover, you can also write down in your chat window. Right. So, anyways, my purpose here today is not exactly to teach you agile or project management, but to just expose to you what are the various ways and what is the basis on which this agile building is standing and how it is going to affect all the areas. Right now, various agile certifications, various agile methodologies, all in one way or the other, are reliant on software development. People are trying to translate. There is a dire need that other industries who are desirous of using agile must transform this IT based agile thing into a tailored form for each one of those industries. You know, it is not necessary that the number of team members would always have to be 8 to 12 as in software development. Yes, in say in construction or engineering, we can say keep the number to minimum, but at the same time, we have to define how much should be the number of team members, how much authority and autonomy you want to give to the team. Sometimes in construction projects, that is not possible to let your team do whatever they feel like. So, those kinds of things, there is need for translating agile into other areas. Moreover, even in software industry, they have started talking about lean and agile together, and some of the methodologies entertain lean. But lean had always been there for last many years, for last number of decades, for other industries. In manufacturing, in engineering, lean manufacturing, lean construction, lean engineering, these things had been there, and the purpose was to reduce the waste. While the agile's purpose is to speed up the work and gain the overall satisfaction from the customer as well as from your own employees, which you want to delegate and empower, and still be able to flexibly work faster and better. Yes, of course. But if lean benefit is added to it, that makes it, you might have heard about Kanban and many other things happening within Agile. That's what Agile software industry is already doing. And naturally, that is going to be a lot of use for other industries. So let us see from where it all started. This all started with Agile Manifesto. That was the first document ever created back in 70s, and in this document they defined the 4 values for Agile and 12 principles. Generally, I'm showing this manifesto to you just because this is the standard manifesto, although I will show it in some other manner as well. But the descriptive form is the 4 values you can see here. Naturally, it is designed for software industry initially. So individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So it doesn't say that processes and tools are no more important. What it's saying is that people and their interaction takes precedence over processes, because the processes, the rules, the tools, and all those things, they are actually made to facilitate the people as if they can work better to produce the output or deliverable, whatever you want. So if you become very bureaucratic or autocratic in specific use of those processes and tools, probably you are cutting off the freedom of your people. You are not actually being very delegative. So you have to prefer your people and how they interact with each other and have your hands off. Second value was working software over comprehensive documentation. Naturally, this specific value is um for software industry, but many other industries who are translating it now, they are saying it working deliverable or working output over comprehensive documentation. Naturally, we understand that there used to be a lot of documentation, help files, plans, and all that. So that comprehensive documentation was supposed to be more important. But it now says that the product is more important than the documentation. But again, I would say that does not say no documentation is required. Agile do have documentation. But again, there's not a lot of documentation, and the way to document things in Agile has become slightly different. Third value is customer collaboration over contract negotiations. It is not important to go by the contract, rather collaborate with the customer and try to develop some empathy, try to understand. You see, contracts can change, they can be negotiated, they can be amended, but basic concern is the customer satisfaction. Collaborate with the customer and be flexible. Both sides may change contracts in favor of each other, but what is more important is not the contract but the customer. Fourth value is responding to change over following a plan. You have developed a plan, now you say I'll not change it, I'll just work according to that, and you are not accepting the change, or for that matter, very frequent changes are not being accepted. So it is more important now by Agile Manifesto's value that you must respond to change rather than giving more importance to the written down plans. Do not resist change. So this is just how Agile Manifesto describes it, and naturally, so many organizations who are actually translating this Agile Manifesto in their own methodology, they have somehow some of these things have been changed, because over the time lean has entered into agile, kanban and lean naturally. Then we have got scaling factor. Whatever we do at a very small level has to be scaled up, because agile is not only for small teams, it may be applicable to the whole organization. And in that process, this small team mechanism has to be scaled up to, you know, number of teams, and those teams can further be scaled up to maybe program level, portfolio level, or for that matter, organizational agility is talk of the town right now. So, as I said, Agile Manifesto was talking about these things, and as I said, it does not say that processes and tools and comprehensive documentation, all these things are not required. They may be required, but the priority should be given to things on the left. I hope you're seeing the next slide. There might be a problem because of the slow net. The slides may not change as I want them to change. Okay, I do not want to waste any time on that. Then we have got 12 principles of Agile Manifesto, and naturally, that is the natural. I'm sorry, there was some loss of sound. Um, I'll I'll get back. We were talking about the four values of Agile. These were the four values. Slide will be just be visible. I think due to lot of net traffic these days, having these type of online classes becomes really very difficult. Sometimes you don't have sound, sometimes you don't have uh, picture, and so things like that. Anyways, so we have talked about the values of the Agile Manifesto. Let us talk about the Agile principles. So there are 12 principles of Agile, and those 12 principles are basically in accordance with the four values. So basically, if you can remember those four items, you would know that this is the policy, this is the manifesto, and that changes the shape of any project for that matter. Anyways, for example, the principles could be customer satisfaction by rapid delivery of useful software. How can we said that we want customer satisfaction, we want to put the customer first. How can you do that? It says give him something to cherish about. Rapid delivery of useful software, or for that matter, whatever industry you are in, whatever output you are giving him, whatever deliverable you are delivering, so that should be delivered often, quickly. And the interesting part is generate as much value as early as possible. That will add to the satisfaction of the customer. So if you can list down all the work you are supposed to be doing in your project and complete the highest value work earliest, the customer would be much more satisfied because he can see that within 1 or 2 weeks you have performed so well. Maybe you have achieved 10% of the whole project load. So uh, he would he would know that only 90% is left, and we have got a lot of time. And naturally, he also understands that he can even interact and he can get the things changed, but only those which have not been completed. So once I have delivered something, I am done with that. That cannot be changed. But I am doing a very small portion of work at any one time, meaning I'm just working on one odd iteration, and that is too small. A few things I'm working on. Although all of my work, we have introduced the role of product owner here. Product owner is responsible for collecting all the requirements and sorting them all out in an order of priority. They should be done, and naturally that order of priority includes the high value tasks on top. So when the team comes in, they come into play and they start working, they would pick up the topmost work from the product backlog, and that's how the ball will start rolling. Anyways, you can. This is nothing. I'm really going to be teaching you, but I just am trying to show you that these are various principles, and this is how they can be translated. But my focus here is to tell you what all kinds of certifications are there, and which is better for you. Generally, those of you who do not understand would know that agile project management is different from waterfall because it does its work in small increments. Like in project management, traditional project management, we used to have phases to make things better understandable. Now, we are not restricting ourselves to the phases because phase was in itself a huge project by itself. It was also not something very small. A phase may span 5 or 6 months. So, if there is a change you want to bring, we cannot wait for 5 to 6 months. So, whenever in a traditional project somebody wants to change anything, then probably he has to go through, uh, that cycle of 5 to 6 months, as if project manager is busy doing current phase and he cannot change the work he is doing right now. Although that was a negative thing, and Agile covered it. Agile gave us the way out. So rather than having phases of a traditional project, which are actually delivery based, what we have done in Agile, we have time bound slots, very small slots, and they are not called phases, they are called increments or iterations. Every iteration or increment is small enough, and it is not bound by some product delivery. It is bound by time. It is time boxed. Say you have a 2 week time box. So your increment would always be 2 weeks. After every 2 weeks, you will start another increment. So in every increment, which is standard 2 weeks long, whatever you can accomplish, you will pick that much job and you will complete it. You will plan only that much work. Although the overall product delivery or release planning has been done by the product owner, but you, the Scrum team, or whatever kind of team you are having, whatever methodology you are using, that team is only working in one increment, and they will pick enough work which they think they can accomplish, and they will pick this job work from top of the product backlog created by the product owner. And then they will create their own backlog for working during these 2 weeks, and that is called the sprint backlog, Naturally, I'm speaking the language of Scrum, but there are many other ways. We should not be very specific with Scrum and only Scrum. There are many other ways, and there are variations in various methods of Scrum, Agile. In Agile, as I was just saying, stakeholders come up with their development request. Product owner is responsible for interacting with the stakeholders and collecting their requirements, gathering and filtering that, looking at the market requirements from key stakeholders, and then he creates stories. Well, this is a huge discussion, how these stories, user stories, are created. Initially, when you gather it from the stakeholder, it is in shape of epics. Epics are like, uh, huge chunks of stories, which probably um, stakeholder can only express himself in that kind of scenario. But that is not doable as far as the requirement is concerned. So product owner, along with his team, I mean the Scrum team and whomsoever is a team, he would break those epics into smaller consumable stories, which could be explicitly uh, taken as requirements. If there are multiple requirements in an epic, that has to be broken down into user stories. Anyways, those user stories are filtered, they are prioritized, and they are put in a specific order, and a product backlog is created, and then you do the release planning, what you generally intend releasing in various stages. That release planning kept in mind, the project teams come and pick the work out of the product backlog, which they intend doing in their one increment. And that's how this keeps rolling. I'm not going into a lot of detail of retrospect and everything, but this is how the ball gets rolling. So in an agile methodology, you can see after having received the requirements, naturally you do some kind of solution designing, and that whatever the solution you are getting, outline is created, right? And then you start working on the increments, and ultimately this is exactly what is happening. First your idea is coming, then you do the release planning, then each iteration is running, and in each iteration there are daily, in language of Scrum, there are daily scrums. So whatever that one iteration of 2 weeks had to accomplish, it is broken further down into daily iterations. Every day is a iteration in itself, but that is kind of a balance check, how much work has been done and how much is to be done. And then this keeps happening continuously, and ultimately you start achieving your results. So this is how your waterfall as compared to agile will look like. In waterfall, you have a Gantt chart in which you complete one job and then start another, then start another. But you're actually doing everything in uh, not exactly in a sequence, but in in a pattern which is leading somewhere. In an increment, you are doing everything for the delivery of the whatever, and at the end of this iteration. So you plan also, you actually work on it, you monitor and control, you do everything within that iteration, and ultimately you deliver some value at the end of this iteration. And this cycle will then continue again for the next and next and next iteration. Okay, so much for the theory. Let's go on and see what agile bodies do we have. Actually, many people have been asking me this question, that which is the best agile um, certification, and what should we do, and things like that. You see, this is totally confusing. Agile is very good, and we respect what the Agile has done to us. It has completely revolutionized. But this, remember, this is not a volunteer body, right? This is a business. Agile is a business. The people who created the Agile Manifesto, they did a wonderful job. But actually, they all have been earning money out of Agile just because they have created the manifesto, developed their own methodologies, started selling the certification, and so on and so forth. This is what is the reality of Agile. No matter how good this methodology is, but this is not created by volunteers for the benefit of mankind. Not at all, sir. Agile is money making, and there are more than one body. It is not like, in project management, PMI is the only body. Or if at all there are other bodies, then, they're segregated. Project Management Institute is the largest body of project managers, and this kind of certification you can only go to PMI, and you can have PMP and all those certifications. If you are trying to be a Scrum Master, you don't know where to go. Because when the Agile Manifesto was created, there were so many signatories of that, and initially they decided to start a business venture, not a volunteer body. Not at all. They started a business venture where they started selling the concept with certifications, right? And then they had some conflict among those members, the signatories, and they broke into two parts. One is Scrum.org, and the other is Scrum Alliance. Again, they are doing wonderful job, but you have to pay through your nose to get certified on Scrum.org or ScrumAlliance.org. Right now, Scrum Alliance is uh, more popular, especially in America and Europe and that that area. Scrum Alliance is more popular, and naturally we are the followers. So because our relatives and friends are telling us that Scrum Alliance is good, so we believe this is good, right? We have to look at it very critically. Although I respect that these two certifications were created by the founders, right? But we are not here to bow down to the founder, and every time we say 5 prayers in front of that person. This is utter nonsense. Somebody said that in this certification, that person does not give credit to Sutherland. Sutherland is not God. Come on. He is making money. He has made a lot of money out of it. So basically, you must understand the concept. Don't go for hero worship or hearsay. Still, I agree with you. Scrum Alliance may be good enough. But what else is there in the market? This is your responsibility to see and learn. As far as the certifications who are advocating Scrum, they are forgetting and they are leaving out all other ways of Agile, all other mechanisms, all other Agile methods. They have just selected Scrum. They may be justified also because out of the many methodologies available in Scrum, the most popular one right now is Scrum, and therefore everybody is running after Scrum. But is it all? There are still industries where other methodologies are being used, right? But because they are in minority, I'm not exactly having that chart in which it shows how many people are using Scrum, but more than 50% people worldwide are using Scrum, maybe 60 or 70%. But there are other methodologies. They are they're some of those methodologies are used specifically by certain industries only. So again, Scrum is good, but Scrum is not all. There might be other things. If you talk about Scrum, I can give you cheaper options like Scrum Study. like Scrum Scale, like Scrum Institute. Naturally, the gods are sitting in Scrum and Scrum Alliance. That is all right, but their matter, the material they are teaching, uh, I am not really very comfortable with it. Yes, of course, we have material coming from Scrum Study. We have material coming from Scrum Scale. Again, as good a material, as good a certification. There is no problem with it. Scrum.org also has got a Scrum guide, which is good enough. Uh, but basically, all of these bodies, what they are doing is they are uh, they are not testing you for the certification. They all want you to come to them for a course, and then they are going to ask a lot of money from you, maybe something to the tune of $1,500 to $6,000, right? They have many certificates: Scrum Master and Scrum Product Owner and Scrum Developer and blah blah blah, and they have created so many more, Scaled Scrum Master, and so on and so forth. And if at all you intend doing all of them, you must be a multimillionaire. You can't do that. So these certifications, you have to pay through your nose. Scrum.org, Scrum Alliance, good enough. Now what people do? People go for one odd certification, putting their life savings into it, just be a Scrum Master from Scrum.org or from Scrum Alliance, and that's all. That is only for the purposes of getting the job. But have you seen the job market right now? I will just introduce you to other evolving things, and then I'll come back to this topic about the job market. As far as the other certifications are concerned, in Scrum, I found personally Scrum Study to be a wonderful kind of a body. The only thing against it is, rather for it and against it both, they do have a proper Scrum body of knowledge. That is a good one thing. Secondly, they tried to follow PMI in developing that. They have the process and all that, but it gives an impression that this is too prescriptive. That is something people don't like. But if you read it, carefully, you will find that just like in PMB, okay, nothing is mandatory, and everything given there is just a guideline that this can be done in this circumstance, right? Anyways, so Scrum Study is good, and I am also saying that the Scrum guide by Scrum.org is also good enough. Scrum Scale and Scrum Institute also have their own books, and this material is good, impartial of who wrote it and how they're doing it, but the material is wonderful. Okay, now these all are Scrum certifications. What about the Agile? Where have the actual Agile gone? And we didn't talk about other Agile methodologies. The certifications in those are also available, but to a very small set of people. It is not generally and publicly known. If you search on website, probably you won't find anything on that. But they are there, and people are using it. Like DSDM is there, and extreme programming is there. Then Crystal is there. Lot many other methods are there, and specific industries are using them. Okay, fine. So one certification which attracted my attention the most was, this was an intelligent decision taken by PMI to start Agile Certified Practitioner. Although this is not as coming with so much of pomp and show as other certifications, because this is just one certification and a basic level certification. It doesn't want you to be an expert, a basic level certification, but it gives you the whole view of all Agile, not only Scrum. It takes you to the journey of the whole. I just heard my echo, probably. So this is This gives you an introduction to other methods of Agile also, not only Scrum, and that's why I grade it better. It is not partial to any one methodology. Although I personally believe and understand Scrum is good. Scrum is good, but Scrum is the only one. So ACP is a good certification for entry level people. But if you want to be an expert, then we have to look elsewhere. Now let's see what is elsewhere. One thing I told you, that lean is marrying up with agile. So many of the Scrum certifications and the Scrum bodies have actually introduced certifications of lean and Scrum together. But having that apart, let us look at another concept, and as I mentioned, scaling. The increment you are handling, howsoever you are handling it, must be able to scale up. And this is not only, I am not only talking about Scrum, it could be any agile methodology. So it should be, you should be able to scale up to the next level and then up to the next level, even at that level where your organization becomes agile. And that is a very popular concept with PMI, organizational agility. And a lot of research has been done on that. So that is what ACP is all about. Now, PMI did another great thing, and that was they hunted down a method which was not Scrum, and it included scalability, lean, and many other characteristics. And trust me, disciplined agile is the future. PMI bought this company, Disciplined Agile, they bought this company. It is now part of PMI, and all 5-6 certifications or Disciplined Agile are now PMI certifications. So if at all you are a PMI buff, I would strongly recommend you to go for ACP, and then to be an expert, start looking at Disciplined Agile, because Disciplined Agile is the future. Because Disciplined Agile encompasses inbuilt into itself the scalability, Kanban, Lean, and so many other features which others do not have. Another very popular system in market is Scaled Agile Framework. Now, the good thing about Scaled Agile Framework is that this is also not focused only on Scrum. This is talking about General Agile. Very good. Very good. The next thing is, this is a specialist in scalability. SAFe is a specialist in scalability. They will tell you a way, a framework is given for lower level, small organization, lower level projects, programs, portfolios, large organization. How can you scale your one iteration to that level of the organization? So I would say Scaled Agile Framework, SAFe people, they are experts in scalability. They have specialized in scalability, right? And what Disciplined Agile has done is they have taken the scalability part from where they left and added lean into it and applied it to the whole agile industry. Disciplined Agile doesn't call itself a framework anymore. They are in version 4, and they have started calling themselves just Disciplined Agile Toolkit, right? Previous name was Disciplined Agile Delivery. Now, Disciplined Agile Delivery is just a small part of Disciplined Agile. I'll describe that later. So, what I'm saying is, in order of priority, I have shown for entry level people who generally want to understand about Agile and not only Scrum, must go for PMI-ACP. If you want to be a specialist, then you and you are a PMI buff, you must go for disciplined agile certification. For a PMI person, there is no other way. No other way. And I can guarantee you that disciplined agile is a call of tomorrow. People will forget about everything and the disciplined agile because it encompasses everything. If uh, you want to deal with large organizations currently in scalability of agile, then safe is the best thing. And if you just want a certification, paying a lot of money out of Scrum.org and Scrum Alliance, if I have to compare, I would rather go for Scrum Alliance. But Scrum Alliance is expensive. Scrum.org may be a bit cheaper because they accommodate online testing. So maybe, Scrum.org is slightly cheaper. But if you are going for cheaper options, I mean, like, not that cheap, but rather than spending $1,500 or $3,000, if you can spend about $400 to $500, that would be Scrum Study and Scrum Scale. Scrum Scale is very recent. It has just come about a year ago, but Scrum Study is old, and they have captured a lot of market in Scrum. If you only want to learn Scrum, the cheapest solution and the best solution, they have a very good body of knowledge. I really appreciate that, and they keep revising it as well. As far as Scrum Institute, Scrum Scale and Scrum Institute, I've recently found Scrum Scale uh, seems okay. They have got a body also, a guide also. But Scrum Institute, it seems something like I don't know. I'm not really sure. I have not tested them, but I think they they are just making money out of it. They are going to sell you the certification even without a test. This is my understanding. I don't know what actually they are doing, but they are actually selling certification in bulk. You can buy all the certifications, all 10 or 15 certifications in bulk. So probably there is no training involved and all that, and they are revalidating. If you are already a Scrum Master or something, they are revalidating and giving their title to you. So I would not go for Scrum Institute. Okay, out of these many bodies, the top two bodies, ScrumManifesto.org and ScrumAlliance.com, these are only two bodies who are not, making money out of certifications. AgileManifesto.org is dedicated to providing you information about basic Agile Manifesto and what is happening. And Agile Alliance is basically not selling any certification, but they are just like a body like PMI, small little body, and they have got membership. You have to pay for that. So this is all right. They conduct conferences and things like that. This seems okay. And naturally, PMI seems okay. PMI is fine. Scaled Agile is fine. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. So if you are all okay till now, I'll move on to further description of each of these certifications and bodies. Any questions so far? If anybody will raise hand, I will be able to allow you to speak and answer you. I'm sorry, I may not be able to read the chats because I'm talking and I can't focus there. Okay, I have a question from Umar Shujat Bhatti. Umar, your mic is on. Please speak. Umar, you can speak now.
Sir, I'm an architect by profession. I would like to know how can Agile be used in the design projects, like design of the buildings and design of the large-scale infrastructures. How can it be used in those projects?
Actually, yes, it's a very interesting question, and this is exactly what an engineer or a person, not a software developer, would be concerned about. How agile is going to affect my life and how it can apply. Although this is not really the subject of this seminar, but I'll refer you to. Being a civil engineer myself, I have actually worked on this, and I've written a number of papers on lean agile construction industry, and I've read those papers in PMI. The concept is, and this has been seconded from Massachusetts University also, MIT. There was a professor there, and he helped me in that session. So he told me that they are applying a similar approach where civil engineers can do it, and naturally the methodology has to be rewritten for engineers, and engineers have to write it. But because you first need to understand how all these different methodologies are working, only then you will be able to tailor it according to your needs. Now, how will I do it? Omer, I'm just coming to you. Let me answer this. How will I do it? First of all, I will see how small an iteration can I create out of a building, right? Probably I can't do very small iterations because this is not a replication job going on in construction of a building. So in a building information system, in information modeling, you see we do have some kind of mechanism. Planning part can be subdivided into certain sections. Your first phase maybe after the groundbreaking or before the groundbreaking. Those jobs can be divided into small sections. Break your work into as small unit as possible and try to allocate a fixed time to that rather than product. So maybe you say all groundbreaking work can be classified into one big phase, but this phase can be divided into various iterations. And in first iteration, you do not have to specify the deliverable. That is one thing. And this is not only the translation of methodology we are trying to do. There are other things we need to learn. Just look at the Agile Manifesto, forget about Scrum. Look at the Agile Manifesto and see, do we give more importance to plans or to the customer? Contracts are customer. So naturally we are bound by the contract. So our general tendency is going by the contract. We do not establish good rapport with the customer, because if we have that, then probably we don't need to have trouble in contract negotiation. Contracts can be amended mutually when we mutually agree. Documentation, we are doing a lot of documentation. How we can reduce it? You can think of 100 ways of doing it. So I can come up with lot many other things. Enrich, like um, delegating powers to your people. In engineering, this is an autocratic system mostly. There is boss standing and he's actually telling everybody what to do, and they're supposed to be doing it. This may have to change. Let let us exercise servant leadership. Let the people tell us what they are expert on and how much work they can handle in a specific period of time, right? And let them do it. When they commit, they will definitely do it. When you assign, they will definitely resist it. So all these rules which I'm trying to tell you are applicable to project management. Make your own methodology, and I can assure you, you if you try it out, you will see a lot of efficiency and effectiveness increasing in your organization. But anyways, till the time we experiment, these are just the words. The next question, Omer Merchant.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Of course.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. First of all, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep it brief to the point, and I just gonna background of what I want to inquire about is
Hmm.
how to implement actually the projects of various sorts in a Scrum way, because I've done PMP, I've done Prince2, as well as Scrum over the course of a few years, right?
Mm.
And what I've learned is that this is more of a framework as opposed to a book of a rule that you have to follow. You can do a mix and match as well, right? What I cannot comprehend is that I have implemented Siebel CRM, and there are other course banking systems like T24, which I'm working on.
Mm.
And there is no proper agile implementation you can do for the very nature of these core banking systems, which you have to go through the traditional waterfall cycle. So what is your take on that? How to go about using it in a Scrum way, deliver, because you cannot deliver bit by bit, as anything that may change in 3-4 months might have to be reworked what you delivered earlier.
Omer,
So this is what my question is. How?
this is the game of trial and error. For all other industries except for software, this is trial and error. We have to learn it through trial and error. You see what PMI is coming out with. The 7th edition of PMBOK is a total change. They are even getting out of the framework. And as I was telling you, disciplined agile stopped calling themselves the framework. They say we are just a guideline of a toolkit, right?
Correct.
They are not even claiming to be the framework, because even framework is prescriptive by nature, and that is not by the spirit of agile. So you have to give full freedom to the people. How that is possible? That is very difficult when we think now. But if you can slowly start putting these jigsaw puzzles together, I can I can assure you, you will build a model by yourself. You have to tell it. So,
Correct. Because in CRM, I'll give an example.
mhm,
Sorry to cut you. There are two ways to implement CRM. One is the phase approach, in which agile can work. So we used sort of Prince2 model whereby we had phase gates and exit gates, which PMP doesn't offer. PMP says, you start writing and that becomes writing on stone, and you continue. And
ah,
end of the time, you realize what had happened. But
oh,
Prince2 opportunity, before you move on, you take a check, right? So this is what. Uh,
I tell you, the best approach for you would be safe. Go to the safe side and see
mhm,
they have applied it at the organizational level, and they have done similar things like you're saying, and disciplined
mhm,
agent also. I would say
right,
for you the best is safe, and second best is disciplined agent. Let me show you
perfect.
how they work, and you will
Sure.
yourself see.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Okay, okay. I'll cut off with some of the details. I'll straight away move on to these different methodologies. First of all, Agile Manifesto I've already discussed. Agile Alliance gives a very beautiful subway map, and actually I did use it when for the first time I was appearing in a Scrum certification. I hold a number of Scrum certifications, and ultimately I found out that this is all useless, because everybody is teaching the same thing in different ways. The same tools, the everything is same. A little bit of change in approach, and they name it differently. So they have done a very beautiful way. All the various tools you may have to come across, they are listed on this subway map. So iteration and everything, you can look at it at your own leisure, and you can enjoy it, because I personally find this to be good. Then coming over to PMI, PMI did come up with a ACP certification. As I said, it's an entry level certification. Don't take it as a specialist. A fresh graduate can go for this just after study of maybe 10 to 12, 24 hours. So this is nothing. This is so simple. This is as easy to do as CAPM, Certified Associate Project Manager. So this is nothing very special. But yes, the CAPM ACP holds a good title. A good title. If you want to be an expert, you may have to move elsewhere. I have got the complete slide deck of PMI about ACP. If you are interested, I can stop onto some of the slides, but I don't think that we should spend a lot of time in it. This just explains the philosophy of PMI in Agile project management, naturally the Agile Manifesto. They have the 12 values. They tell you the brief history of Agile. They give you examples on Agile principles and practices. You see, it's not talking about Scrum, it's talking about Agile principles and practices. Then is the certification itself. And PMI, as is their practice, they have come up with a ACP handbook and an exam content outline. This is the most beautiful part of PMI, that everything is properly put in order. Although there is no one specific book they are referring to, but this handbook tells you how to apply for the certification, and exam content outline is your basically syllabus. So PMI says read it from anywhere, but we can ask questions on any of these topics. But don't be really confused about it, because we are going to be having very easy questions in ACP exam. This is the basic level certification. Uh, Umair, are you trying to say something again? Umair Merchant?
Sorry, no, no, I'm just going to lower the hand. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you. Okay. You can go through the PMI website and see all those requirements and everything, but generally what is more important is the criteria for entering into this exam. You see, you don't even need to be a graduate to do that. This is an entry level certification. Just secondary degree is okay. You just have a high school diploma, something like that. Your general project management experience, you may have 2000 hours. That means about a year or so. And you must have been working on projects and earned these 2000 hours in last 5 years. It's not a 5 year experience they require. They require just 2000 hours of experience in last 5 years. So if you are new to the business and you have just 5 years of experience, or even less than 5 years of experience, but in your last 5 years you can show 2000 hours. Generally speaking, 1500 hours is comfortably shown in 1 year. So this is asking you a year plus experience. Then your agile experience should be 1500 hours or 8 months. These hours are in addition to the general project management experience. So 2000 hours and 1500 hours. So you need to show 3500 hours of experience and 21 contact hours of training. So about 3 full day training, if you take from anywhere on agile practices, probably you fulfill all these requirements. So this is the criteria. Application process, probably you all know how PMI application process goes through. You apply for it and you wait for the completeness review, 5 to 10 days. Your application might be selected in audit, then you have to fulfill the audit requirement, and then you are allowed to sit in the exam. 120 questions in the exam, and 1 year, eligibility. Certification cycle is 3 years. Once you pass the exam, you are ACP for 3 years, and after every 3 years, you have to renew it. Okay, this was about ACP, and those of you who are just confused where to go, the first stop is PMI for everyone. For those entry level people with less than 5 years of experience, I would strongly suggest go for ACP and at least have some basics established. Only then you can start. Then you may like to go for uh, Scrum Alliance, right? CSM, Certified Scrum Master. Be my guest. But if you understand what disciplined agile is, you will never look elsewhere. Okay, disciplined agile is a process decision toolkit. It provides you straightforward guidance to help people, teams, and organizations streamline their processes. Actually, Umair Merchant, exactly this is what it is. People, teams, and organization. This is a scalability factor, right? So it is not a framework, it is a toolkit, right? And definitely not a methodology. Definitely not a methodology. So it just provides you a solid foundation for business agility. You will scale up to be a agile organization ultimately. This is what you dream, and this can be done by this as well as by uh, SAFe. Both of them can do it, but I would say safely that you go for SAFe right now, and later on you may be looking at disciplined agile because they are also coming up to the same level. As I said, it is a toolkit, it's not a framework. It started, this disciplinary agile was founded in, this toolkit concept was founded in 2018. Otherwise, they have been in market with the name of disciplined agile delivery since 2009. In 2012, they actually released the first version. And in 2015, after 3 years, the second version, but this second version was not disciplined agile delivery. Disciplined agile delivery just became a part, and the larger thing was disciplined agile. So they renamed their framework. Delivery is a framework. Disciplined agile delivery is a framework. This framework is now put into a larger box of disciplined agile, and disciplined agile is a toolkit. So in 2015, they came up with Disciplined Agile 2.0. Then in 2017, Disciplined Agile 3.0. And since 2018, it is Disciplined Agile 4.0. And maybe if at all they come up into 2020 or 2021, that could be Agile 5, Disciplined Agile 5. As PMI has bought it, now Disciplined Agile is a property of PMI. So the basic book they were following, Disciplined Agile, was called Choose Your Way of Working. Wow. Now you can see on the left is the original book, but after PMI bought it, they reconfigured everything. Now you can see PMI logos everywhere. Now this book is available from PMI Marketplace. You can from bookstore you can buy it, and this is about 450 pages, and I think 40 or $45 or even less, $29 I think. Uh, then the disciplined agile has 4 layers. The innermost layer is the disciplined agile delivery, which they started with initially in 2008, and now they have disciplined DevOps on top of it, disciplined agile IT on top of it, and the outermost layer of the onion is disciplined agile enterprise. I just wanted to show this to you. I don't want to discuss it because that is a long discussion. If you go to disciplined agile website, there is a lot of material you can read and you can enjoy. Actually, I enjoy reading these things. You will enjoy, and you would then make up your mind how it can help you, especially for those who are not from IT and who want to apply it in their industry. This is another example of the layer 1, the innermost layer, which applies to most of the organizations. This would be disciplined agile delivery. So it actually works at the increment level. Form the team, align with the enterprise direction, so on and so forth. So this has been now aligned with the PMI methodology. Therefore, this is going to go exactly according to what PMI 7th edition, PMBOK 7th edition is coming up with. And trust me, PMBOK 7th edition is going to be remarkably different. Remarkably different. It's totally agile. They are not going to have any knowledge areas or process groups in 7th edition at all. This is going to be even more interesting. The sixth disciplined agile delivery possible life cycles could be a agile life cycle, continuous delivery life cycle, exploratory life cycle, lean life cycle. As I said, lean is accommodated. Continuous delivery, lean, and program. Program means they are talking about scalability. So you can see how much is covered. The scaling is fully covered, lean is fully covered, continuous delivery is fully covered, agile is covered. So all of this is part of disciplined agile delivery. And the certifications they have 6 certifications. Disciplined agilist, you just become a member, you can get this certification. Then they have certified disciplined agilist. You attend a course and sit in the exam. Disciplined certified disciplined agile practitioner, a level up. This is disciplined agile lean scrum master. Then is a certified disciplined agile coach, and then is certified disciplined agile instructor. So I am sure they are going to even evolve further, but this looks promising. Then moving on to scaled agile, safe. I really love it. This is good, wonderful. So again, they follow the same agile manifesto, almost the same principles. There might be a little word change here and there, but the same 12 principles. And believe me, PMBOK 7th edition is having exactly same pattern. Values, 12 principles, and so on and so forth. So who says PMI is any more waterfall? It is not going to be waterfall anymore. Okay, this is the scalability in SAFE. This is the lowest level. You can see the team working at the bottom. And if you are trying to apply Scrum of Scrums, then it scales up to the program level. The team level is the project level, then is the program level, and you can further scale up to the large solutions and further scale up to portfolios. You see, this is the complete full model, right from our team to the organization level. So this probably will take care of your CRM. You probably can interact with the enterprise and government and all other external entities, and you can groom up to be agile. So you're not only it is talking about lean and agile, it is also talking about scalability, it is talking about portfolio, it is talking about business solutions, and you name it and you have it. So they have a good vision. This is no. I would in today's world I would like to compare disciplined agile with safe. I won't take care what Scrum Alliance or Scrum.org is doing. From my point of view, their time has passed. If you're looking at future, look at safe and disciplined agile. But even then, if you still want your Scrum Master certification, go for the cheaper solutions as you can afford it. I can't force the solution on you as you can afford it. There are a number of certifications which SAFE is giving away. Certified Safe Agilist, Certified Safe Practitioner, Certified Safe Scrum Master, Certified Safe Advanced Scrum Master, Certified Safe Product Owner or Product Manager, POPM. Then Release Train Engineer, Safe Program Consultant, DevOps Practitioner, Government Practitioner, Agile Software Engineer, Safe Architect. Probably that's exactly what you said. You are an architect, Umer. You are an architect. So probably this is the certification you might be looking at. But I know you are not looking at the certification. You are looking for the solution. Certified Safe Lean Portfolio Manager. If you are at the higher level and you are looking at the whole organization's portfolio. Safe Agile Product Manager. So you name it and have it. These are materials which are really very strong, and probably you can benefit from them. Then comes the Scrum Alliance. most popular certification, because people do not know about other other trends which are coming. So the most popular certification right now in the market is Scrum Certified Master. You are ready to spend about $1,500 to go for it, where this can be available for $200 to $400. And the material is not any good. They don't give you an injection of Scrum which makes you better. Just this badge and that's all. Otherwise, this has absolutely no difference from other certifications. Then they have Scrum Developer. Those so expensive, you only will go for Scrum Master and you will forget about it. You will not try for Product Owner because that would be even expensive. Scrum Developer, probably again you won't go for it. So these are the basic three certifications. Then they have got Advanced Certified Scrum Master and Advanced Certified Scrum Product Owner, and this is just for making more money. Then they have got Certified Scrum Professional, another generation of new certifications. Certified Scrum Professional, Scrum Master, and Certified Scrum Professional Product Owner. Well, what is the difference? You can yourself see from this website. And these are the paths you can take. If you are a CSM, the next level is Advanced CCSM. And the next level is CSP SM. CSP is Professional, Scrum Certified Professional, Scrum Master. So similarly, a similar path is for the product owner, but for the developer, they just have a simple CSP. So this is what this Scrum Alliance is giving you. नेट बंद हो गया